Hey folks, what's up? This is Adam here, aka Unseen Guy. Hope you're all having a good day. Okay, the 8th installment into the Hellraiser series. Hellraiser 8, Hellworld. For those of you who have not seen my previous reviews or rants on these movies, Hellworld, I own on Blu-ray in this multi-feature, along with Bloodline, Inferno and Hellseeker. Dead or Unknown on DVD. Nothing to get excited about, you know. But this is the last film which is directed by Rick Bota, because Rick Bota also directed Hellseeker and Deader. And it's also the last film to star Doug Bradley as Pinhead. Now, I'm going to be honest with you off the bat, I'm not a big fan of all these movies like Bloodline, Inferno, Hellseeker and Deader and Hellworld. I've reviewed them all. Not all rants, but more or less they are pretty much rants. Because to tell you the truth, the first three Hellraiser movies are the only movies worth watching. At least they feel like Hellraiser movies. All these other movies like Bloodline, Inferno, Hellseeker, Deader, and even this movie Hellworld seems like a random script meaning to be a movie. Didn't necessarily go the well they wanted it to, so they just chucked Pinhead in and called it a Hellraiser movie. That's what it feels like, a random, failed scripted Hellraiser movie. Just call it Hellraiser, just by throwing Pinhead here and there. And that's my problem with these movies, but just do not feel like Hellraiser movies. Now, Hellraiser, Hellworld, I'll admit a couple of things. I think Hellworld is better than Deader. I think it's better than Hellseeker. And it felt longer, and it felt like more was added to it than Inferno. I'll admit that. Now, I remember when I watched this Hellraiser Hellworld for the very first time, and I remember saying I really liked the movie. But after I got done watching it moments ago, I don't know what... I don't know why I gave the movie so much credit. I mean, I will admit, I like the idea of the fact that it's Hellworld, like everything was all online. That was an interesting idea. You know, I like the fact that there was a house full of gamers, you know, with all these cell phones and all that kind of stuff. Could have been something interesting. At least it added interesting aspects in this movie. At least there was that. But other than that, there was nothing to go crazy about this movie. There's not even a big kill count in this movie. 3, possibly 4 deaths. You know, and one thing about this movie, Hellworld, there's a lot of mind-fucking scenes in this movie. It's like Hellraiser has now become like a mind-fucking film. There was also a scene where this movie felt like it was something took out of Saw. Because there was a scene where this chick was in this chair, this torture chair, and this device goes onto her and destroys her neck. So I'm thinking, you know, I'm watching a Saw film now. There's also a scene where Pinhead cuts off this guy's head in the basement where he's looking for his inhaler. And I'm thinking, right, so now it's a slasher movie. You know, he just cuts off his head like you see in a slasher movie. So we've got a Saw movie, we've got a slasher movie, we've got a mind-fucking movie. And we've got a whole movie that doesn't even feel like a Hellraiser movie, all mixed and combined, all put together. One big mindfuck. So, although I admit Hellworld is better than Hellseeker, Inferno, Deader, it's still not a great movie. And again, it's the last movie that stars Pinhead, which is a shame, and sadly the films don't get any better from there either. But it is what it is. I mean, this movie came out 2005, I think. Seems like they're going on forever. It's 2005, September 6th of 2005. Yeah, I've already mentioned it was directed by Rick Bota. He directed this one and the previous two. Produced by Rob Schmidt. That's right. And again, this movie for a 2005 movie, right off the bat, the reception was really negative. A lot of people say it was a hell of a good time of a fucking flick. But other than that, not a good movie. I mean, basically, what the film's about is it opens up about these games, basically. You know, and I admit the first bit did give out like a good little bit of a good tale where they say playing too much of the same game can fuck with your health. Because basically, there's this online game based on the Hellraiser franchise. And there's all these fans all from all over the world and people playing this game. And one of the gamers has an unhealthy obsession with this game and ends up committing suicide. And then we get introduced by these other 5 characters. There's this guy, there's this girl, a black guy, and sort of like a goth chick, but not more or less. Anyhow, they all get an invite to this mansion, like this place where they're holding this party for all these gamers called Hellworld. And they all go because one of the guys who's in this group was a friend of the kid who committed suicide. Yet again, he went ahead anyway. Now, the lead girl in this, I can't remember what her name was in this, but I did a little bit of a background check on her. And if I'm reading the right profile, she's got a bit of like karate background, like martial arts background. Apparently, she holds a black belt. And I'm thinking to myself, it would have been nice in this movie at some point if you would have seen like a bit of karate, like a bit of kung fu or some sort of karate, especially from a black belt holder, which she got when she was very young. But we don't see that. We see like a little bit of a hand demonstration from a move by somebody, but that's about it. So that was a bit of a waste, The opportunity to hire an actress who could do karate and it's not used, But they get loose into this house by this guy. He invites them into this office where there's like this bit of a surgical place, babies in jars and coffins and shit like that. There's a scene where the girl sees Pinhead for a split second, because I think she gets like a pin in her finger or something like that. She's Pinhead for a split second. But anyhow, they're all invited to this party, and everyone at this party's got their own cell phone. And there's these guys in white masks with numbers on them, and I guess you can call different people at the party, for this game, mind gaming game and all that. So there's different people playing mind games, but basically it's like one big piss-up party, sex and alcohol and all that shit, And one by one, people are getting killed. Now, the goth chick, as I should call her, she gets the chair kill, where she's in that torture chair and the device goes on her neck. It's something you'd see out of Saw straight away, because it goes around her neck, it destroys her neck, presumably kills her, and you're thinking we get a Saw scene from a Hellraiser movie. We get the scene where the black guy is looking for his inhaler because he drops his inhaler and he goes like down to the basement area where Pinhead cuts off his fucking neck. We get a scene where this guy's getting a blowjob from this girl and they both go down into this area down in the house. He gets killed with a giant hook. He gets a hook in his back. Pretty gruesome scene, I give it that. But in regards to screen time with Pinhead in this movie, I wouldn't say there's a lot. Like I say, he did not get much screen time in Inferno. And in fact, in the movie Inferno, did he have like about a 5 or 10 minute appearance, Pinhead, in that movie? With that being said, I'm not mocking anything, because in the first movie, he didn't get much screen time in the first Hellraiser movie. Yeah, in 2 and 3, he had a lot more screen time, especially in Hellraiser 3. I suppose his screen time in Hellworld was like, yeah, because you do see him like here and there. And there are some good gruesome scenes, but there's one scene which I thought was pretty pathetic with the CGI, because there's a scene where this one of the people who are in the attic or in this room in the house finds a puzzle box, but it's a fake. And I swear, like, this pin goes through his thumb or something like that. And I swear to God, the blood looked fucking purple. His blood looked purple when this pin went through his thumb. It was like a really bad effect. The needle going through his thumb or something like that. And it was like purple blood. From the middle half of the film, it's all back and forth with these cell phones, with all these guests at the parties, calling each other. It's sort of like a build up towards the end, because I'm going to give the spoiler away right now. The guy who let these guests into the house, he's the father of the boy who committed suicide, and he lured everybody into the trap. In the back garden, he's got these 5 graves, where he buried all the guests, but they've got their own cell phones in the graves. There's a scene where he's trying to bury the girl alive and all that reason. Basically getting vengeance for his son. We get a scene where Pinhead kills a cop. Like shoves a knife around the back of his throat or something like that, and it comes out of his mouth. And again, I'm trying to find ways what more I can explain about this movie, other than just like the other movies, it was a really forgettable movie. I mean, from one of the research that I gathered, this movie was meant to be something else. It was meant to be a script for a whole new different movie, but again, they didn't get away with it or something. So I've just called it Hellraiser Hellworld. I just threw Pinhead in these little scenes where he didn't do much appearances. You know what I mean? But at the same time, it didn't feel like a Hellraiser movie. It felt like a fuck-up mining game movie, or a Saw movie, a slasher movie, all put in one. It did not feel like a Hellraiser movie at all. It's supposed to be one big bout, like, the Hellraiser movie was meant to be like one gory adventure films. You know what I mean? Like we did in the first 3 movies. And there's gore in this movie, don't get me wrong, but it's just like nothing to get excited about. You know, he gets killed at the end where he's in this apartment building. He gets sliced in 3 by Pinhead and these Cenobites. He gets like cut in half twice, and his body slides to pieces. And I don't know why they did this for a fucking ending. There's an ending where the lead girl's leaving in this car, and he sees the guy in the back. They pull over, check the back, nobody's there, and they drive away into the sunset. And I'm thinking, okay, would it make more sense to have Pinhead as the guy you see last at the very end? Why the guy that got killed? Why he's just a normal human being? Why did you put a scene like with him appearing in the back of the car seat? Is he really that much of a big deal of a character? You know what I mean? So, towards the end I was like, come on. You know what I mean? I always gave this movie props. I enjoyed it back in the day when I first watched it, but after just watching it again moments ago and now doing a rant or review on it, it's definitely nothing special. It's definitely nothing special. And we get drawing points in movies where we're saying enough's enough. If anywhere's got to where it's got to end, it's here. Granted, it should have ended like roundabout Bloodline or Inferno. That's where it should have been drawn. But like I said, I carried on with the movies, which I've ranted on, and then we get to this movie, Hellworld, which was Doug Bradley's last appearance, and I can fucking understand why. He turned down Revelations, and that I can definitely fucking understand why he turned down that movie. But this movie, it was like, nothing to get excited about. Again, I like the concept of the fact that they used online gamers, and I like the fact that they used the Hellraiser franchise as part of that aspect of getting all these fans to play this online game, and the place that they're all stuck in this house. But they could have worked better on like the kills. They could have worked better like on the storytelling in terms of, well, better than something like 5 graves at the end where they're all in the 5 graves. You know what I mean? They could have thought of a better idea than that. And if Pinhead had more time to do more gruesome kills like he's good at, maybe the film would have got a little bit more credit than what it should have got. Maybe so. But there's so many things wrong. So many things wrong. And just like the others, it doesn't feel like a Hellraiser movie either. Although I do give it props for a few dibs and dabs of things. It's better than Hellseeker. It's better than Deader. But at the same time, not a good movie. Okay, and that's basically all I've got to say, everybody. That's the review on the multi-feature Blu-ray. Again, with the Blu-ray, there's nothing to go mad about. There's no special features or anything like that. They haven't even fucking worked hard on the fucking disc. Look at the disc, it's just a plain grey disc. No artwork or anything like that. Just an artwork. I mean, they couldn't even involve Deader in this special set. It's just Bloodline, Inferno, Hellseeker, and Hellworld, but didn't involve Deader. So, this goes to show how much they fucking gave a shit. So, that's the review on Hellworld, everyone, or should I say rant? More than likely a rant. But, what comes next, I don't know, because there's supposed to be 2 more films after this, Revelations and fucking Judgment. I've not seen Judgment, and I've only seen parts of Revelations, and I know that Revelations is really bad. Really fucking bad. Will I spare some of my spare time on watching that movie before ranting on it? I don't know. I'm going to have to see how I fucking feel, because I don't like ranting on movies. I'd rather be doing a review on a film that I really enjoy. You know what I mean? And for me to waste spare time on a film which I know is going to be shit just seems really pointless. But we will see. I might do it or I might not. But if not, we're going to move on to something better from here. So thanks for checking this out, everyone. Please like, rate and comment and leave all your thoughts and comments below. Peace out.